Okay. Maybe. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. We have started screen. We have a starting screen on the YouTube. Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to actually be a professional streamer.
How's that going for you?
I'm 3 minutes late, so just say something. Welcome back.
Duck, something.
How are you doing?
I'm doing better.
Good.
Kind of a rough start to my week, but I'm doing better. I probably still won't draw with you today, but
Gotcha. That's fine.
I'm happy to hang out.
Okay, the YouTube chat is functioning. You know what? If Druid's not gonna draw today, I might try something else. I might do something like this. And then take the YouTube chat. Do something like that.
3 minutes late sounds more professional than most streamers to me. Yeah, Elliot, I feel similar.
Technically, I should be able to just put the start screen on and then go away for an hour. I've never done that. So, Moniker, welcome in. Get some juicy juice going. Where's my pen? There's my pen. All right. Welcome in, everybody. It is Friday. We're gonna try to finish up these shenanigans. Yeah. I don't know. Wednesday was a little weird. It was the first time I was like, hey, just do whatever, and a lot of people still did the characters. So I think that means people like just the suggested characters. So that's good. But I was so stressed out on trying to like figure out what the characters were supposed to look like and stuff like that that I just I feel like I spent a lot of time not actually drawing. So we'll figure that out. Brian, welcome in. Hello. Oh, Corvus got a membership. Nice. I've been looking at the emotes and stuff because I said we were going to do that 2 weeks ago, and I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yep.
But apparently we got a bunch more because we have so many members, so we'll have to add some.
That's cool. Love it when perks level up.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I'm a little sad because I can't get like Streamlabs is going to be a bit of a challenge to try to figure out for YouTube, just to like make it functional like it was on Twitch, because Twitch has a lot of
which
neat
is a little
integration.
bit better for integration. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that will really be my thing, but I wanted to try to like clean up the chat. We're gonna play around with stuff like the super chat side quest. I'm gonna make buttons. I don't know if I like it that big in the middle. Maybe we'll put it over here, but it is Kaijun. So Bri, since you did gift a sub, what kind of kaiju would you like? Yeah, those are great emotes. I like those. I wish they were animated. There's no animated emotes on YouTube yet that I'm aware of. Maybe there are. I've not made a suggestion yet because I have analysis paralysis. Yeah. I don't have suggestions for that. Don't overthink it, which is kind of the opposite of what you just said you have issues with. So go as simple as possible. That would be my suggestion. Name, race, character. That's it. That's all I would get. There needs to be a bird skull emote. You can do that. The issue I have, like, I like the rugby emotes, but they're not really emotive, is the problem. And, like, a bird skull emote would be a bird skull, but, like, what's the emote for it? I mean, I'd have to make it, like, you know, like an uwu skull or something. So I have to. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I'd have to make it actually emotive, and that would be the challenge.
Challenging.
Yep. Not undoable, but that's the challenge.
A slug kaiju. Hey, that's not bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. Let me finish this rugby real quick. Have I told you guys about the funniest part about being an art parent?
No.
I've never really just like sat down and looked at babies. But it's funny now that I have a kid, it's like I understand goblin proportions better. Because like tiny babies cannot like when they're just born, can't quite reach above their heads. Like their bodies are still in proportionate, but not to their head. And so like they have these tiny little bodies. And it's really funny because you take for granted the fact that you can like put your elbow over your head. I assume most people can do that. Babies cannot. Their proportions are way wrong. And I just think it's so funny. So I started looking at that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh man. Just all kinds of wrong shape. Ooh, that's interesting. Can people read the chat over that box? Hold on a second. Maybe I can fix this. We'll edit the background in real time with inside of Aggie, and then whatever works, we'll make it a thing after the stream. Let's see what happens here. Maybe a little gray, a little bit gray. Maybe we'll pull it over here and go boop. A little bit more. Boop. It's kind of weird that it just floats there. Oh, wait. Can I make it bigger? Is that a thing? What happens if I do this? Does that break? No. No, apparently it's the same. Alright. Whatever. A graboid. That's true. Wait, is that just a tremor thing? It could be. I guess they're kind of slugs, right?
Kind of, but they're not like really big. And I always think of kaiju as being just
big.
Absolutely fucking massive. I will say though, the slugs are one of the few creatures that have a body plan that like doesn't inherently bother me if you supersize it.
They're kind of already giant, just tiny, like.
Yeah.
Because they just munch on plants and stuff, so like they could easily eat a tree and it would look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Holy crap, you're right. Is in reference to? What do you mean? Oh, Monica. What's Monica talking about? I always imagine crows are just judging and laughing like Waldorf and Stadler. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm in the wrong chat. 1 second. Hold on a second. Let me get this all figured out.
I have seen some crows that tend to also act like super pissed off to agree that Waldorf and Stadler never quite managed.
Let's draw this kaiju. Wait, so are we doing a graboid or are we doing a slug? Because I'll definitely draw a slug here. Give it little teeth. Radulas. Radulas are terrifying.
Yeah.
Who needs
cool
jaws?
Name, though.
Yeah. Who needs jaws when you just have infinite teeth in a tube sock?
The forbidden fleshlight.
Yep. This isn't Wednesday. No, it's Friday. Yeah. Does it say Wednesday? Maybe I didn't
The title
change it.
still says Wednesday. Viewer
well.
suggestion. June.
Dang it.
You got the date right though. It is June 7th.
I do remember changing the date. There we go.
If it makes you feel any better, it does feel like it's supposed to be a Wednesday still to me. So.
Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, because it's a kaiju and it's not just a normal slug. Do slugs have eyes? Snails have eyes.
Yeah. Slugs are the same basic body plan as snails. They just don't have shells.
We gotta make them. We gotta make it super weird, so it's gonna have lots of eyeballs. The Dune Cup. I'd like an extra butter and a little popcorn if possible, please. Gross. I saw somebody when Dune 2 came out with a shirt that said, "I only came here to fuck the popcorn bucket."
You
said the quiet part out loud.
I'm not sure what it says, if it says more about me or about society, but I'm not at all surprised that that t-shirt exists.
The question is, did he buy it or did he make it?
Or did he make it?
Yeah. Because, like, if he made it, that's funny, but I bet he bought it. Which means that somebody's mass-producing them. Dragon Darius, hello. They have, like, 4 stocks. Slugs?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Elite teas, there you go. Humanity is filled with lust. I think it's part of our condition, you know?
Yeah. Part of our primate makeup.
Like, if there's anything, because we're not, it's literally in our genetics, right? Like,
yeah.
Because we don't reproduce asexually. It's just like, hello, I'm here to eat food, and I was gonna do the SpongeBob meme, but that's not right. Inappropriate for YouTube. We're not on Twitch. What am I doing? Get out of here.
We also don't have a set programmed time of the year when it's most appropriate for us to produce offspring, and so therefore we don't have an estrus cycle. So we just horny all the time.
Yep. What was I was looking at something on the internet, which does not, like, I feel like this conversation is gonna go to something on the internet every time, right? Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, everything's on the internet anyway, so of course.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that what I found was, like, unnecessarily horny. Oh, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. This morning I opened up Instagram, and it was like the guy from Wreck-It Ralph and Mario making out, and I'm just like, you know what? I didn't need this. I didn't need this morning. Somebody thought to themselves, you know what? 2 bulbous noses, let's do it. And I'm not here for it. Not my jam. Obviously somebody's jam though. Wow. Slut shaming stream? I didn't say it was bad. It's just not my thing. I wasn't ready for it. That's my problem, not theirs.
I was gonna say more like anti-Rule 34 stream, but not even that.
Were you the one that drew that? Did I just oust your secret Instagram account? Does banging your gavel make your arm tired? For the moral judges. All right, I'll leave the judginess at home.
What? Hold on, let's back the judgmental train right the fuck up, Bri. Who's being judgmental here? Rook said, I was not ready for that. Rook said, I did not care for that. No, at no point did he ever say, this is morally wrong, people should be ashamed.
Trude's the bailiff now.
I'm totally willing to be the bailiff. I will uphold the rules of the internet. Everybody be fucking cool for 5 minutes.
Point not your fingers at others without mine own fingers pointing back. The rule lawyers have spoken. Okay. I think that's a pretty good slug kaiju here. Let's get some weird lines in here. I think the thing...
Go ahead.
I think the thing about kaijus is they have to have a little bit of glow on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like bioluminescence is a must. Something for scale and something to denote that they're not quite the normal thing.
Yeah.
So the spikes you got going are pretty good. They also do kind of feel sea slug.
Dang it, you're right. Which,
But,
I mean...
it's not necessarily bad. I think you still got some scale shit going on that helps. And the raduled does help.
There was no non-sea slug in the description, so I think it's still valid. But yeah, maybe sea slugs are just tiny kaiju. Like, don't irradiate those things. They will eat Tokyo.
Yep. And anything else that they can get into.
Was I talking about Godzilla -1 on stream the other day? Might have been Wednesday. I really liked -1. Shin Godzilla, a little much for me. It was. I was talking to Corvus about it because the Evangelion guy directed that movie, and it's apparent.
I did not know those were the same director.
Mm-hmm. Super weird.
It does make, Shin Godzilla does make more sense to me now.
We are drawing. This is a kaiju slug is what we're drawing. Kaiju sea slug. Okay, and we're done with that one. I'm gonna shrink this down. Oh, I put it on the wrong layer. That's good to know. So we're gonna just cut that, make a new layer, paste it on there. It loses all its transparency because it can't remember transparency apparently. Whatever.
Wait, Monstrous heard me say Nazi slugs? Man, Monstrous, you must have jumped in at just the wrong time, because I did not. We never went there. It was sea slugs.
You ever seen Art Muscular Feminine Male? They've got a bodybuilder. I don't know where that's against Ethereal Fame. Okay, yeah, I could see, like, I usually draw my fae pretty feminine, regardless of their gender, so I think that's valid. 34 more, and I had not sea slugs. Elliot, welcome in. You just want a regular Leviathan? Alright, we can do that.
No,
since
moniker.
we did the super chat, I will go ahead and turn off the ads so everyone can thank Elliot for that.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, moniker. I don't think Jarwan was talking about femboys. It seemed to be more like they were describing an Urbosa type character. Buff woman, still very feminine.
Okay. Let's go back here. Get this going. Crap. I clicked off something and now I can't get back to it. There we go. Okay. Wait, what did you say here? Leviathan? Alright, we can do a Leviathan one. Here we go. So what would be the difference with the Leviathan here? Because the Leviathan's like giant squid. right? Or is it not giant squid? Do we lose Druid?
Sorry.
You're good. Do I want to do like?
Leviathan, like.
Should we do D&D Leviathan or like old school Leviathan?
I don't know. I don't really know what a D&D Leviathan is.
Basic rule. Oh, go ahead. Good.
Leviathan to me does not usually isn't usually giant squid. I usually get something more like sea serpent or monster whale.
Monster whale. I like monster whale. So the general rule for kaijus for me is that a person has to fit inside of it, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be a guy in a rubber suit. So we're gonna give chunky little legs, and then maybe a whale. I've created the Mr. Crab's daughter, Pearl.
Pearl. Yeah.
I miss Blue Skittle. Blue Skittle, if you're out there, I miss you. Come hang out with us. I will try to catch your streams more often because I haven't been on Twitch in like 3 months. And the reason I say that is because we need some tiny cat face on this kaiju as I'm drawing it. It's great. Bri, thank you for the membership. The one llama who is obsessed with fandoms. Enjoy those emotes. Depends on your mythology. Some are crocodiles, some are demons, some have sea serpents. That's kind of cool. I kind of like the sea serpent idea. I'm sure some people have seen... what the hell is it called? Shoot. Not... I was going to say District 13, but that was a combination of District 9 and Warehouse 13, and that's not what I'm talking about. It's the giant whale and tick handy cam kaiju movie. Shoot. And then they made the second one with John Goodman. I can't remember the name of that either. Dang it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're
I
talking
do miss
about.
Warehouse 13. It was good. Let's see if the internet can figure out my machinations. Machinations?
Yeah. I remember I did look into like the term Leviathan at one point, and if we're talking about like the Leviathan from the Bible, there's literally no description given. It's just that it's something probably massive in the ocean.
Yeah, that's like pseudo dragon / Cthulhu-esque, right?
I mean, maybe not even that. There's literally nothing besides Leviathan and
Right.
and
not no physical description, but like
no, everything else is completely made up by people.
Conceptually, it is like. Sorry, when you talk about like Christian dragons, like that's what they're talking about. Like the that's the like it's some huge demon thing that comes from the ocean. Cloverfield. Elliot figured it out. So nice job. Cloverfield was originally supposed to be a giant whale monster, and I loved the concept art. And when I saw the movie, I was very sad, very, very sad, because they turned it into like a big noodle monster, and it looked like something that the people in the back rooms want it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was wholeheartedly disappointed with that movie. So super bummed. Is that from the same movie, Bri? Is that from the Leviathan movie? That is terrifying. That is terrifying. That is some Cronenberg stuff.
Mm.
I rewatched. I have not seen American Werewolf in London in 20 years. And then I watched it this last weekend. And I'm like, man, I don't remember how this movie ends. And then it got to the ending, and I was like, oh yeah, it just ends. It just shuts off. It like what's the Law and Order's it. Someone says something, somebody screams, and then it's just like title card. And I was like, wait, what? Okay, we got the top of a whale here. Sky whales. I love sky whales.
Me too.
Your renditions make me want to watch Clash of the Titans. Space whales are great. I just want to point out that whales used to live on land.
Yep.
That's
they
hyperbolic.
were doggos.
Yep. It's a little hyperbolic because they were dog whales, but still pretty big. Like, they weren't tiny. But definitely not like Maximo size that they are now. We keep talking about sorry. Every now and again we bring up megafauna, like just in conversation. We talk about like grizzly bears and stuff, and like they're pretty big, but like I can't imagine a grizzly bear being double the size of current grizzly bears.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, oh.
Were they ever that big?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. That's terrifying. It might not actually have been bears. It might have been a different species of similar body type. But
Those ground sloths were that big, but I don't usually get bothered by herbivores getting that big, especially in areas or in points in time when plants ostensibly ruled the world.
right.
Because that happened, lest we forget, like the first major biological-based die-out on our planet was caused by plants making too much oxygen.
Right. Isn't that weird?
It's so weird.
Like all the trees finally like, yeah, get them.
Yeah. I suppose it was cyanobacteria specifically, not
It was, yeah.
plants, because
The seas
there were
became
no proper
toxic to
plants yet.
life, but not to sea life. And then eventually they just killed themselves off. So, cool. Good job. Good job, planet. I like every fantasy universe to be its own version of the Leviathan and Behemoth because they're generic terms for giant sea monsters. Yeah, that's fair. Arctodux. Arctodus? Largest bear species ancestor is only big as the largest polar bears recorded. Oh, okay. Polar bears get big though.
They do. They get real fucking massive.
Okay, I'm spending too much time on this. So we're gonna speed this up a little bit. Make it look a little bit more like a Pokemon. I'm gonna make his legs even smaller because I think it's funny. Tiny little feet, big thighs, tiny feet, and then another tail. No, we're gonna give him a whole tail. But yeah, people haven't seen the Cloverfield concept art. I'd highly recommend go looking at it. It's super cool. The ticks were really cool, like for monster design. Great job. The ticks making people explode. I could have taken a living it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Mind you, like, so Cloverfield was weird, and I was sad about it because it wasn't really a monster movie. Like, it was a monster movie, but it was one of those like, what if we never show the creature? It's like that's not. I came here to see the creature. That's why I'm here. I don't care about any of these people. I don't care if they live or die. I just want to see the creatures. Yeah, super cool. I love that design. It's in the Discord for people And then the second Cloverfield movie came out, and I didn't see it because I was like, nope. And then the third one came out, and they tried to explain what the hell was going on, and I was just like, yeah, I'm out. It wasn't just a weird movie choice. Like, this whole universe is just weird. Okay, that one's done. Oh, color. We gotta put the color in.
You know, the Leviathan talk has reminded me of a specific episode of Big Guy and Rusty.
Yeah.
And like
Mag popper.
I've been looking through that stuff and like I've realized, Big Guy and Rusty's kind of a kaiju publication.
100%. Because they just go out and they fight giant weird alien monsters.
Yeah. It's giant robots fighting giant monsters. No wonder 10-year-old me loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess it would have been 14-year-old me probably. Still loved it.
I have the comic. The comic is great. Power Rangers, same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Recently obsessed with large muscular men. That happens. Elongated from the... Jarwan, I'm not sure why you keep repeating that, but good on you.
Yep.
You're very welcome to like those things. No notes.
Yep. No kink shaming here.
Yep. For some reason now I want to play Final Fantasy X. Yeah, right? Final Fantasy X is a weird one. We can defeat the kaiju with dancing.
Final Fantasy has always done some weird shit with their kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
And I always respect it, but I don't usually like it.
What are the Power Ranger colors? Bri, you keep yelling about orange Power Ranger. I think it's because orange is a half color, right? Like, what are the... Because we have
let's see.
Red?
The originals, red,
yellow,
blue. There was
black.
pink and black.
Ah, pink. Okay, pink is the outlier then. Pink, black, and there was a green one. Green is also... So these two are the outliers.
Yeah.
And then we have black and white.
But...
So if there was an orange ranger... Whoops. Why didn't that go orange? That was real. I think we'd also need like a purple ranger. Like that would probably be the two... That would be the other outliers, right? So you could do an orange and purple ranger combo. Like make a new series. Because pink doesn't make a lot of sense. Pink doesn't fit the scheme either.
It doesn't. It's like in the original one. I remember feeling very much like the Pink Ranger is just the girl ranger on the team. Except the Yellow Ranger was also girl, but she was cooler to me. That might be because I've always had a thing for women of Asian descent.
Sure. In the original, the Yellow Ranger wasn't a female, was she? Because only the Pink Ranger has the skirt.
I thought she was.
Fun fact, originally the Super Sentient Pink was supposed to be a dude. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, well, that does not surprise me because in Japan, pink is not a feminine color; it's a masculine color because it's strong, it's overpowering.
I mean, the whole blue boy, pink girl thing is only 50, 60 years old, or is it? Oh, yeah. I mean, now it's longer than that, but
yeah, and only Western European.
Mm-hmm. White, red, yellow, pink, blue, black, green appears in the original. Okay. Yeah, so you're right. Pink could have been orange. Pink could have been orange. Except once again, that's not it's just blending the reds, right? Blending the red and white, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You would have really, it would make more sense for there to be, because they went green. Green was an addition, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have had 4. Don't need the Pink Ranger. I know it's gonna make a whole lot of people real mad, but it breaks the color scheme.
It is. It is frustrating to me that there were two girls on the team, but the Pink Ranger was the only one with a skirt. The Yellow Ranger also like played problematically into Asian American tropes, which is not surprising considering this came out in the early '90s. But
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna roll some dice. When did the original one come out? Because the original one came out in Japan in, was it still in the early '90s or late '80s? How about King Caesar? Oh no, the kaiju from Godzilla. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, is King Caesar a Godzilla creature? Or is this a meme?
First Super Sentai show debuted in Japan in
Oh.
1975.
It totally
Mighty
is.
Morphin,
Oh, sorry, go ahead. 1985?
1975 in
Okay.
Japan. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers released in America 1993.
Oh, so they did originally just have the red, yellow, and blue. Interesting. Okay. See, that makes sense. That makes sense. For the color scheme.
Yeah.
But there's no reason they couldn't add more colors. Zero reasons. So
True. Anyway, I interrupted you with something arguably more important. What were you going to say?
they suggested King Caesar from Godzilla, which is the thing. I was thinking King Julius from Madagascar. So, yeah. King Caesar is, I don't know, a dog? A dog Godzilla? It looks exactly like dog Godzilla, but they added fur to it. It looks a little bit like a were Godzilla. So, a Dogzilla, if you will. Yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. So, here we go. It fits the month. It fits the rules. We're going to do it.
Man, there's so much about Godzilla that I am not aware of. I had never seen King Caesar before. This is weird.
Because there's like the core Godzilla movies, which is just like the first 2 or 3, and then there's a bajillion just like Godzilla versus movies, like.
Yeah.
So, and those are all just silly shenanigan movies, which is great. Like that's how TV used to be. It's essentially a TV show, but in movie form.
Most of the kaiju movies that I have watched were Gauros derived, and I only watched them because I was watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 as they reviewed them.
Sure.
So I personally tend to, because of that exposure, I tend to like the flying saucer turtle more than the irradiated iguana.
And of course, I found the furry art of Dog Godzilla.
Of course you did. The thing that's weird to me is that the more obscure a thing is, the more likely you are to end up with Rule 34 when you're looking for reference.
It's just somebody's willing to pay for.
Yeah. And because it's more obscure, there's less of the mainstream stuff up for Google to reference first.
It looks like it's supposed to be like one of the like Chinese food dogs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a food dog. Water painting and digital art that mimics the effect of water paintings really captivate me. I also like art that could be done digitally. Could only be done digitally. Gotcha. Yeah. I like doing both. Like, I love doing digital art, but I really love sketching, like pencil sketching. And even though I can kind of fake it digitally, it's just something different about physical media that I like. So
Yeah.
it's good to do the different types of things. I will elude nearly anything if paid the right amount. Yep. Yep.
You and about half the rest of the internet.
Nothing wrong with that. I have very little shame, but I do have principles. So.
Going through the ranger colors and came across orange before purple.
I vaguely remember an orange Power Ranger, so like I know it exists, but that could be because we've talked about it and I've looked it up.
Maybe there've just been so many iterations that it seems wild to me that they wouldn't change and adapt between iterations.
God, what was the last Power Rangers Turbo? Like, I feel like if there's a call for an orange Power Ranger, it would definitely be when they have cars.
Yeah.
Hunter Safety Zord, activate. Do food dogs have big ears?
Huh? Oh. As I'm trying to think of them, I'm thinking of like the Scottish fold cat ears that flop a little bit. But I'm gonna have to look up some reference.
It's in SPD. Orange Cosmic Ranger, interesting. Is that like Space Police Department or something? Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's a good question.
They've had a few oranges, but always... I can't read this. It's in the way. Hold on. It's always a side character.
Interesting. Here's a food dog for you. Looks like kind of elfish ears to me. There's a lot of about food dogs that reminds me an awful lot of what are they? Manticores.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Missing the scorpion tail, obviously, but
There's a season where they're all black and animal themed instead. Is he a king because he's got a weird crown? Is that why he's called a king?
yeah, I don't know. I thought Ghidorah was the...
That's the king of monsters. Where's Godzilla the king of monsters?
Well, I think when Godzilla kills Ghidorah, it takes the crown.
They made a Godzilla TV show. I think it was on HBO. It was pretty good. Like it kind of expanded Godzilla lore in a way that I really liked. The show itself had some pretty like just lazy writing, but
Was it the Godzilla 2000 iteration TV show?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching
Well,
some of
wait,
that.
Godzilla 2000 with Matthew Broderick, or are we talking about Godzilla with Heisenberg?
I'm maybe thinking of the Matthew Broderick one.
Because
The
that was a
one where
cartoon. Are you talking about the
Yeah.
cartoon? Okay, no, this is a real
Yeah, I'm
TV
talking
show.
about the
This is a real TV
Oh,
show.
okay.
They just came out with it 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Godzilla cartoon was pretty good too.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one where they it came after the movie that completely redesigned Godzilla to make it more air quotes realistic in proportions.
Yeah, it's Giant Iguana, which is still good.
Yeah.
I dug it. I liked that movie as much as people hated it.
It was I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was no less ridiculous than any of the other Godzilla movies, so
Yep.
I don't
Plus,
know
it
why
had Gene
people
Reno in
give
it,
so
so
much
like,
hate. Yeah.
Gene Reno's always good. That was a good movie.
I thought it was funny. I loved there was a ton of tongue-in-cheek sort of backsass for the rest of the franchise. Maybe that's why people didn't like it so much, is because it poked at their love of something that was patently ridiculous.
It was definitely like the least Godzilla of all Godzillas. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it swung so far, but it was still good. Like, I think they made a good monster movie.
Yeah.
But they liked showing off the creature, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely had a lot of fun with the CGI in that.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of interesting
Let's give it a-
creatures and stories in Chinese and Indian mythology that I don't have any representation for in Western media. Yeah, and that's okay. Like, sometimes you don't need to, like... Western media does need to cover everything, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We need
At
more
some
access
point-
to it, to Eastern media, though, is I think the way to fix that.
Yeah, I agree. At some point, Bollywood is going to become big enough that they're going to branch out and start, covering more of their own history and fantasy. And I very much look forward to that, because I think they'll do a better job than Hollywood, which is likely to whitewash it all.
What is the texture on this? Okay, we'll do that. Something like that. I'm going to run out of space here, but...
Pokemon legendaries were taken from native beliefs. Yeah, that's not surprising. Pokemon pulls a lot from... Honestly, they don't pull very much from animals, from like biology. Most of it is is mythology. Most of it is yokai and other creatures from mythology.
That's annoying. An advert's been placed above the chat function. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know how to help you. There's a gold and graphite ranger in the same season. I found my first purple ranger. Okay.
Graphite Ranger. I'm going to that upsets me.
It's just, it's like the excessiveness of it.
Yeah, yeah. You could have just said gray, or if you didn't want to do gray, they could have been silver.
It feels, at that point it's starting to feel like Sonic OC or Steven Universe OC.
Yep.
Here's another weird, obscure gem that I can make a character with. I'm super original. It's like, you could have just also been blue. Like, that's fine. Oh, look, Sonic the Hedgehog and his brother, Doug the Hedgehog. Like, just make another hedgehog. This is totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
As non-Pokemon player, I still don't understand them. It's very confusing. The easiest way to get your head wrapped around Pokemon is that it is a world that is supposed to be an MMO. If everybody in that game is someone playing a game, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Alternatively, everyone is dead and you're in purgatory, and a nuclear holocaust happened, and Pokemon are the representation of people that died and are now trying to help the people that are still alive. So you can take it any way you want. Yeah. They had a Silver Ranger before white Graphite. Yeah, Graphite's I'm the pencil ranger.
Yeah. Like, at that point, I honestly expect there to be a chartreuse ranger.
Right, yeah. Are the colors indicative of anything?
I don't think so.
Or is it like a... I'm thinking of things like Voltron, right? Like, yes, the colors match your... Let me do this the other way. In Voltron, they all have the same mech, right? They all have cats.
Yeah.
And so they're denoted by color. That makes total sense to me. The color is a denotion of whose thing is what, right? They're spectrum, and then they come together to make a rainbow monster. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
With Power Rangers, on the other hand, they're all different anyways, so they could all be the same color, and we'd still understand which one was which.
Yep.
So, does the color have a purpose? Like,
not as far as I.
Is it like lightsabers, where the colors are denoting your form of devotion to the robot cult?
I don't think so.
Okay. My armor's not pink. It's light red. There's already a name for that. It's pink.
I only ever describe colors in shades unless there are well-known distinct colors such as navy blue. Yeah, Oliver, I would like... There was kind of a trend, at least in my area when I was in high school, where there were people in my art classes who were color snobs in the same way we have type snobs.
Well, those still exist, 100%.
Yeah, but like, I don't associate with them anymore. That's the thing, right? So because like the less you're a graphic artist, the less the specific hex code of a color matters.
Right.
For example, but then also if we're talking about teal, for example, is a terrible denotation for color, because every company that has ever produced a teal colored paint produces a different shade of teal, right? So like if we need a saturated blue green, it's better to say it's saturated to blue green than to say I need teal.
Is this what he looked like in the show? I don't know. I have no idea. There have been some personal matching across series, but they always purposely break it, and they were thinking it might be a rank or function, but those also break down. Okay, so it's just kind of... I think it's just graphically chosen, right?
Mm.
Go watch Red vs. Blue. It's really funny. Blue team has to be blue, but they can all be different colors of blue. So are you like on the red team or the blue team? I'm a non-combatant. Shoot him. I just think like you can't have it medium gray. People generally just seem to know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know how many different colors of gray there are? You know what light gray is? Mostly white. Dark gray is almost black. You know what black is? Mostly black. You know what other darker blacks are? Mostly black. It's really like the spectrums of gray are stupid, because it's like white, light gray, slightly darker gray, medium gray. I would say it's just 50%, right? Like that's an easy one, and then it just gets like black, also black, also black, also black. Also black. Like it's just it's nuts.
You reach points where the only descriptors that matter after that are warm and cool.
Yeah. Yep. Especially now with like our high def whatevers with 46 billion colors. It's like the human eye can't see that many colors. I don't know what you're doing. What is happening here? So, I don't think I'm done with this bad boy. Here we go. King Caesar. Dog Godzilla Man. Pretty good.
I like it.
You can have your rifle in any color so long as it's black. Is that from Futurama? I feel like it might be. I can't remember what that's from.
I mean, it sounds like a Futurama quote.
A fat Viking like Tabaxi Scald Bard. College of Valor. I like it. Fat Tabaxi Bard. What are we drawing? A fat Tabaxi Bard. That's what we're drawing. I'm going real chunk.
Oh Lord, he coming.
Oh Lord. The Guro furry community? I don't know what that is. Do they have a big... Is there a big fat cat community that I don't know about? Force feeding kink. Not YouTube appropriate.
Nope.
My brother said if I had to describe my personality as a color, it would be gray. All right. Your brother might be an asshole. Or you might have a gray personality. What's the term? Backhanded compliment?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But is it a warm gray? Is it a cool gray? Is it a French gray? Which is gray with a little bit of brown in it. Which is really just muddy or warm gray.
I've worn two colors in my life, like purposefully chosen colors. One was bright orange because I wanted to be Goku, and the other was black because fuck it. So, yep. My personality is probably one of those two colors, orange or black. I don't know what I've done, but it's not a cat.
As much as I love purple, it doesn't look great on me. Yeah, monstrous, same. I've got a lot of kind of olive in my skin, so yellow and purple make me look sickly. Jaundiced. I do pretty good in most other colors, though. I think.
Regardless of how fat the cat get, gotta have tiny nose. I think that's what my problem was. Did you know that the like super fat cheeks on feral cats is a sexual dimorphism?
I did know that. That and the belly pooch.
Mm-hmm. The primordial pouch.
Yeah.
But yep. When cats start going into heat, male cats, they'll get the big old cachetes, so that they can bite each other in the face
and not cause mortal damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some animals get horns. Cats get fat. Cats get real chunky. Scent glanced in their face. I'm not a Cheeto. I wear mostly orange. Yeah, I used to wear bright orange pants all the time. It was great. I miss them. I don't miss them because those were the ones that had they were zip-off pants. And so when you crash on your skateboard, it would embed the zippers into your knees. So I stopped wearing those. It was also really because it was a time when they started making like super polyester type pants, and so if you crashed on your skateboard on concrete, it would melt the pants. Like instead of getting road rash, it would just melt, and you're like, well, now I have burnt holes in my jeans. So that's a little weird. So
and melted plastic embedded in your skin.
Yeah, that's when I started wearing jeans. There's a Ninja Turtle Power Ranger crossover where the Ninja Turtles get their own versions. Ah, cool. They made Casey Jones the Pink Ranger. That feels like appropriate.
I mean, all the colors were basically taken by the turtles already.
Okay, what kind of clothes should this cat have?
Are the Ninja Turtles just Turtle Rangers? I mean, yes and no. They don't have the Zords. They don't have the robots, right? Right.
Let's see. Originally, no, and then they got, they became werewolves, and then I think at one point they did get their own robots, but that might have just been like a Power Rangers is really powerful or popular. Let's make a bunch of action figures that are just Ninja Turtle Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because I vaguely remember one of my friends having Ninja Turtles that like fused together into a giant mech. They do crossovers, yeah. I mean, it's kids' cartoons. It would make sense for them to do that.
Absolutely. And yeah, the Ninja Turtles did have their own crossover, but like a junker van that's been totally revamped and shoots pizzas.
Yeah.
And a disc thrower, which was a toy that my friend had and I loved. Like that's very different from a multi-combining robots that join together to form a giant humanoid robot to fight other giant monster kaiju.
A mecha, if you will. That was really weird. I swore I heard a bunch of something behind me. Cats? Where are the cats? What time is it? 12 o'clock? I need to go check on the boy. I'll be right back. Hold on a second. 1 second. Okay. What kind of clothes should we do with this? It's a Valor Bard. So that should be kind of combat-y, right?
I think so. They are a bard, so generally they should still be fancy and pretty, right?
And
You have a D&D character where they're good at climbing stuff, and that's pretty much it. Oliver, I absolutely you could. Assume they'd be a rogue or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'd go with a rogue. I think a monk might be a better fit.
Yeah. Monks can eventually run on walls and stuff. I would do that.
Rogues are kind of, I guess not by definition, but rogues tend to be a little bit more dex based, and that means they're good at acrobatics, but they're not going to be good at the athletics check. You'd need to like climb all over everything.
I would either go monk for the key points, or I would go fighter, and then just take the like athletics feats.
Yeah,
because the fighter's going to have some unique stuff you can do with that, like whether you want to get into grappling as well, so you're just like climbing around and grabbing stuff, or if you're like climbing up something to then like throw a boulder at somebody. Barbarian might work too. Barbarian would work pretty well.
Yeah,
because I think you get advantage while you're raging, right? So you could rage climb.
I believe so. Yeah,
that might be a better bet.
And I think barbarians also have stuff to mitigate
fall damage
when you fall as well. Yeah, so
yeah, barbarian might be the better call.
Yeah. I mean, monk also has basically built-in slow fall, so.
Yep. You wouldn't have to be raging all the time, but.
Yeah.
Mr. Jonas, welcome in.
Hello.
I'm drawing chunky cats today.
Chunky cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
The heat is slowly reducing in Finland, so I'm not dying anymore.
We got up to like 75 yesterday. It was pretty warm. Pretty warm for Seattle.
I need to convert this.
45 Celsius, I think. 40-ish.
Are you sure it's 75?
My math might be bad. I can never remember the Celsius. I always convert everything to a percentage of boiling and then divide it. So it's 70, 75. Yeah.
Apparently it goes to 23, which is, I'm like, that doesn't...
It's 212. Right. So you're looking at essentially a third of boiling. So it would be 33. Yeah, Celsius. What did you just say? Did you just say 33 Celsius?
I said 23.
23? Okay.
Google said. Gotcha. I don't know. Let's do the conversion by Google.
Because I thought like 35 was 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
No, I don't.
For me, it's not been that hot recently, but apparently, according to this, is the conversion. Around 86 is the highest it's been.
Okay. Because 100 degrees Celsius is 212. So like 54 would be 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
I don't know.
Well, Monster C just said that they had temps of 98 degrees, and that was about 36.6.
And that's melting.
It's not. It must not be like linear.
It's not.
No.
Which doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Because if you're doing it as a chart, it should be linear.
It's a bit cooler now, and
the only problem with using a linear function is that absolute zero is a limit, So it does have to fall off.
Right
No.
now it's a
No, it doesn't.
it's a perfect temperature for me outside. Apparently, it's a 59 Fahrenheit. I don't know if that's correct.
That's chill. Yeah. It's about 63 here, so about the same, which is nice. Yeah. It's a good temp.
I haven't bought much of a fan because of the heat.
Yeah.
I don't have AC in Finland really, so
I have 2 window ACs. One for the living room, one for the bedroom.
I feel sorry for electricity bill.
Yeah, they're pretty efficient, so I'm not super worried about it. And I only turn them on when it gets really hot.
63 Fahrenheit, it's so cold.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Bri. That's bundle up weather for me.
I have all the doors and windows open, and I'm not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, let's see. What was it? Not short for me. 59. That's like good, like short and shirtless weather for me.
Yeah. You have a hoodie on.
Well, I can wear more. But... Ugh.
Cat bards don't need picks.
Freezing conditions. Yeah, I realize I also prefer freezing conditions because at least I can like dress enough for the temperature. I can choose how hot I will feel.
Can always put more on.
When it's like summer, you have to like take more off. But even if you take everything off, you're still dying. So.
Yeah. See, I've got thyroid issues, right? So I can almost never be warm enough. I'm basically cold-blooded.
Interesting.
So yeah, when it's like when it's 36 degrees Celsius where I'm at, that's when I'm finally warm enough to be able to wear my preferred amount of clothing, which is minimal.
The further you get from 0, the steeper the slope. Gotcha. What is the conversion? It's like the number minus 13 divided by 2 or something?
Well, let's see how the...
There is a mathematical conversion. I just don't remember what it is.
There is... Let's see. It's the Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9.
Times 5/9? So,
yes?
so that's essentially times 2. Or times half. He could go half, I bet. It'd be close enough.
What is...
So you have to reset the scale for freezing, not being 0. So the scale is on a range from 32 to 212, and then you do the half marker. Okay.
So you, at first, reduce temperature by 32, which you have, then you times it by that number, so I don't know what it is. What is 5/9?
14? What are you talking about? 5/9 is a little more than half.
A lot of 5s and then a 6. Okay. Confusing. I'm bad at math.
I like math. But what you just said made no sense to me, so I don't.
What I said is like 0.55 and then there's a 6 at the end.
0.556?
A lot of 5s, then a 6.
Yeah. So that's just 5 with the end truncated off. 0.5 repeating is what you could say. Which once again is relatively close to half.
Yes.
Mathematically, not half, but for the scope at which numbers we are using, half is fine.
I can't arrive and just make everything math because temperature differences.
That's all right. Before you were here, we were talking about some kind of weird furry porn, so it's probably better this way.
I guess it was better I wasn't here then.
Do you know who King Caesar is?
Ooh?
Godzilla furry.
I do not know what that is, actually.
I think it was a foo dog is what we decided it was. Which I think was good. The Kelvin scale is just the Celsius scale, but absolute, which is awesome because everything makes sense in the same units. Yeah, standardization is pretty useful.
Yeah. I will say, like, Fahrenheit gets a lot of shit, and like, because of how unintuitive it is, like, it to some degree deserves it, but I also don't like it when people shit on Fahrenheit as a scale too much, because it's actually remarkable and very smart, simple, and intuitive for the level of technology that it is, right? Like, we did not have a great way to consistently measure temperature for a very long time, and Fahrenheit was developed as a way to do that very easily.
Sure. The only problem with it is that it's arbitrary, right? Like,
yes.
It's like hands for horses. Like, it works, but no, that's actually a bad example because it's not. You're right.
Yep.
The measurement comes from
the
measurements comes from the standardization of mercury, right? Like, Mercury does a thing. Somebody said, okay, we're making a bunch of these thermometers. This is the new standard. So, like, that makes total sense.
This is the scale by which this is the scale we put it against.
It's more similar to a spirit level than anything else. Like, this is level now. So.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
But I like if anybody ever wants to tell me that, or ever tries to tell me that metric is in any way less arbitrary, it's not. It still is. Somebody decided, or a committee of people decided, this is going to be the new way we measure it, right? Like, the only reason it's more intuitive is because it's base 10.
Yep. Well, I mean, so the reason that I think Fahrenheit is stupid, which I don't want to play devil's advocate, but
go for it.
Because it is arbitrarily based off the tool used to measure it and not a real world equivalency, that's why I think I think Celsius is smarter, because Celsius is based around freezing water, which is something that everybody has, or boiling water and freezing points. Everyone has reference for. Like, everyone understands what those two things are. And so I think that's a much better system to use. Just in general, because people can wrap their brain around it.
Yeah. And I do 100% agree with you on that. I think I wish America used Celsius. As much as I think it would be a headache for everybody, I wish we used metric everything in general. But I just have to point out sometimes when the internet's being particularly asshatty that, Fahrenheit was a pretty important step along the line.
Sure. Celsius is definitely more revolutionary. It even speaks French. Yeah, I don't know if it's more revolutionary. I think it's like a more common sense way to understand temperatures. Because right now, like, 100 degrees is hot, right? It's just like, that's pretty generally like, that's too hot. No one wants 100 degrees. But, like, in Celsius, it's like 100 degrees, you die. It's just
it was like the general boiling point of water.
Exactly. Yeah. Correct. And then 0 is freezing point, whereas with the Fahrenheit, it's completely arbitrary. So, okay, I think I'm done with this big cat play.
I mean, yeah, that's systems at least. I mean, I think the best thing like these systems did was they made more people use them. That there was like a system that functioned amongst so vast areas. That was the best thing they did. Because before that, you could just scam whoever the fuck you wanted, because every town had a different way of measuring shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the French did it, because it got so out of hand there that they was like, okay, let's come up with one, and I don't know, it's like
It was like bread, wasn't it?
10 millionth second.
I think the reason that became standardization was because people were cheating loaves of bread, or like the weight of flour for bread. I can't remember. I think that's what it was. But it would also make sense that if like people were using different currencies of gold, different amounts of gold, like that would also need to be a very specialized. All your weights need to be the exact same, otherwise you're cheating me. So,
well, very easy to scan. That should come up in almost in D&D more often, but I also think the magic kind of cancels it out.
Oh, during the Friends Resolution, they cut a bunch of things out. Gotcha.
Man. Is there a spell in D&D that... Because there's so many things that, like, dictate weight. So, you know, like, Mage Hand cannot lift anything, like, at 10 pounds or over.
Mm-hmm.
What dictates that? Is there, like, an actual universal magical law that dictates what a pound is?
No, that is...
Or is it just...
That's game mechanics.
Perspective?
Yeah.
I mean... But still, kind of like... There's like universal measurements.
I see what you're saying. We used to talk about this for the aspect of value, because like you need a diamond worth 500 gold. It's like, does it have to be worth 500 gold, or do I have to pay 500 gold for it? Yeah, like if I steal it or I convince somebody to sell it to me for 400 gold, is it still functionally usable for the spell?
Yeah, okay.
And so
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, I think we might have had this conversation with you.
We've had this conversation before. I'm sorry for bringing it up again.
So with the Mage Hand, like just because you think it weighs a pound, I think it's a universal constant, right? Like
there is something there.
Yeah, there's something there with the magic saying like I can only lift so much. It doesn't matter whether or not you know how much it weighs. If it's heavier than a pound, your hand can't lift it up. Whereas the diamond, I think the diamond is just of a specific size. I don't think it's based on the person. But maybe it is.
I feel like, because like normal setting wise, like the Forgotten Realms, because there's a god of magic who dictates how spells function. I think that deity also decides what the weight is and the value of things is.
Sure.
Which is interesting, because that might also mean that spells themselves might affect what something is valued at, as in economy.
Sure. Yeah.
That might be weird, but you know. It's like, this spell dictates how much a diamond is worth always. That might be a weird thing, but, you know.
Well, but the other thing about that is, once again, you are piercing the veil between player and character.
That I have.
Yeah, because, like, I would argue that just because the book says that you need a diamond worth 500 gold, your players might not know that. Like, they might not. They're just like, we need a big diamond, right? Like, and then so the DM's going to say, okay, you're looking for a diamond that can be used to cast this spell. It's going to cost you 500 gold, and then you can haggle for it, right? Or you might be in a place where diamonds are really cheap, and like, yeah, you can get a diamond for this spell for 25 gold. It's like, hell yeah, but like that's because the DM is taking into account what the value of that would be for Morin Caden, right? Like where he would normally buy his gems or whatever. So. So I do think the spell components are more importantly individualized than the book is standardizing them, if that makes sense. So like, because I like the spell components for a lot of spells, like Bat Guano for Fireball, and like because you need sulfur and stuff like that. Like
a lot of them are just puns.
Yeah, a lot of them are puns.
Yeah. And
so to me, that means that really what it is especially when it's like some wizards just can just eschew them because of the feats or because of class features, or you can use like spell focuses. That means that they're not really important that they are exactly that, but that they are equivalent. And so if you find a diamond that to your player would be worth about 500 gold, I think that would be viable, even if it's not like really a good diamond. Or can we use a bunch of small diamonds? It's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, it's just like we're needing to take X amount of value from your players to make this this function in game. So I would let people, especially like, I really like people using familial objects to revive people. So like, what are you as a character sacrificing to revive this person? I don't actually care that it's a diamond. Like, will you give up your magical sword because it's important to you? Yeah, let's do it. Like, I'm totally fine with that kind of substitution. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I need to roll dice. I need to roll dice.
I also like when you're I like the story beats of potentially like supplicating a higher power in order to do that sort of thing, and then having to make some sort of Faustian bargain for something that is arguably more valuable, but like non-physical, non-tangential.
Sure.
Or, like, I
I got a
I
Kenku
especially
Lich,
love
by the way.
Kenku Lich, cool.
Kenku Lich.
Yeah, I like having the Fey patron be like, okay, I'll revive this person who's really important to you. It's going to cost you all of your memories before you were 5 years old.
My only problem, I think, have you done that to us before? I can't remember.
To you guys, I don't think so.
I've heard of something similar to that, and I've had my issue with that is and this might just be a player problem I've had, like not a problem, but like an issue that my players have looked at, is it's almost too easy for the players I've played with to disconnect themselves from their player. And so when you do something like that, to me, it always has to be mechanical, because when it's purely story-based, like if you said that to me, like, you'll forget your parents ever existed. And it's like, ooh, that's rough. But your character's parents never existed. I don't know if people care, right? Like,
yeah.
I think people are generally more willing to punish their characters than they are themselves. So if a punishment is not mechanical in nature, where it's something that will continuously come up, it's not really a punishment. It's just a story beat. And so that's something I've always just kind of thought about and worried about, and tried to make curses and bargains. Like, Jump Rope did a thing where she made a character and she actually kept like a journal for that character, like a physical journal. And so when I came up to a bargain, it was like, I want your journal. And she was like, no. And it's like, because it was a physical thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the way to make it more than just a story beat.
Yeah.
Like you really got to pull something meaningful. When I do it, I usually try to grab something from the character's backstory, like ask them to give up one of the formative things about their character, and then when they try to reference it going forward, I have to be like, remember?
Yeah.
You
I think this is.
you gave that up, so now you've got anxiety about this issue.
Yeah, it was mentioned, but I think this is very heavily dependent on the group of players and kind of players you can.
It absolutely is.
Because I can imagine if that happened in a game I'm playing on like this Sundays, that would be devastating to any of the characters. Like, oh god. But in another game, if I were playing a different character, I wouldn't even care.
So like, it was
hard. It depends.
I think the McElroys did a fun one where Taco, the flip wizard, lost like 100 years of his life, but he's like, I'm an elf, I don't care. And they're like, well, you look slightly aged, and he's like, I use magic to make myself look slightly younger, and it's just like, no consequences.
Well, I mean, it was consequences because Justin gave up every time he specifically said moving forward he was going to give up a spell slot every day in order to maintain that. But so I wouldn't say no consequences.
And then I think
a spell slot, but he chose that absolutely. You know, like no regrets. That was a choice he was willing to make.
And I think so. That I think you're right. Like, the way he played it off is it didn't matter, but he did choose. He gave up something mechanical, right? He gave up a spell slot. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Whereas Magnus Burnsides gave up like one of his fingers because he was just like, it's not going to affect my character at all. Yeah. So it's just like, like just things you have to think about with that kind of stuff. If you're a Titan and cast Mage Hand on a table in your house, it's going to be more than 10 pounds, so you can't even lift a cup. I don't know if that's interesting. That's an interesting concept. So maybe Mage Hand is based around your
size.
Your size.
That would be cool.
But maybe it's based around a percentage of your carrying capacity instead. That would make more sense. Once again, mechanically, the book having a finite limit makes way more sense and it's simpler. But I like that concept. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I also think the rule is generally around players because most player characters are always like medium or smaller.
Yeah.
And the mage hand is like, same size, so we don't know if it affects bigger creatures. Because there aren't that many larger creatures that have mage hand, I've realized.
And it might just be that mage hand is not viable for those creatures, right? Like
mage why hand would a giant ever learn mage hand?
Yeah. Like Unseen Servant, same thing. It's just like, why would I summon a tiny human servant? I am a cloud giant. I'm just gonna pick it up. But then you have like levitating disc. Maybe that would make more sense. Or 10% of your character's weight is still like 10 times stronger than a mage hand. Because that would be the equivalent of like goblins would still be able to lift like 5 to 10 pounds. Humans would be able to lift like up to 20 with mage hand. So yeah, you'd have to do. I would do like 2%, 1%. So, but even then, yeah, you have the arcane capacity to do it. But see, like, so if you're a storm giant, you casting magic missile doesn't do more damage. Like magic is kind of a static thing. It doesn't scale with your physical.
It's the force multiplier for the smaller races.
There is a force multiplier?
Yes, I'm joking that it's the guns for the smaller ones,
That's why you'd use Big B's hand. Yeah, Big B's hand would be more viable for a large creature. But so I've done things like when I said with catfolk, if a catfolk casts mage hand, I think they could have a racial variant where it has claws because it's their hand. But I feel like also that would be like that's kind of you fine-tuning your spells. And I like that. I think that's fair. So with a giant, maybe they have a.
I mean, you can flavor spells pretty. I mean, it's in the fucking rules, even in 5e, you can flavor like that. Your magic missiles look like chickens. That's a funny example.
So I think there's always the option of variant stuff like that. Like you could definitely, I would definitely see a giant having a version of mage hand that can pick up mundane things for them. Now, I would not say it was mage hand. I would say it's giant mage hand, and that would need to be its own thing. You need to figure that out. It would probably be a level 3 spell. Chicken missiles. How do you factor weight into scenes in D&D? What do you mean? Like, there's a Pathfinder trap that is like a long rope bridge that can carry about 2 people, or if a person is large, 1 large person. Like that's one way to incorporate that stuff. Yeah. Catfolk can have a cantrip called Paw Hand and just knock things off tables. Yeah, why not?
The truth is that 5e is not really designed to carry this much nuance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fun and interesting thing to like talk about and debate, but like you're almost never going to run into this sort of thing as a problem at your table, and when you do, you're like the D&D's rules basically say, well, your GM gets to make it up, and whatever the GM says is
GM
law.
discretion. I think another good example, because the opposite of that is the bag of rats, right? If you make it so vague that it's just like, this can lift a proportionate amount of your body. It's like, well, I'm a stone giant, so I weigh 1 billion pounds, therefore I can pick up the entire castle. And it's like, 1 pound. You get 1 pound, right? Like that's what has happened. Because when you write in the paper, kill a creature, it's like, oh, I bring a jar of bees and I squish it, and now I get 1,000 bonus damage. And it's just like, fuck.
Yeah, that's why you need a bag of rats. So
that's what the bag of rats is for, for the pun.
That's why there's so many features that are like, if you kill a small or larger creature, it's like so common.
And then in World of Warcraft, they counteract that with like, you kill a creature that gives you honor or experience. So like that limits your usage for it, right? You can't kill something that's not going to benefit you. What's the purpose of weight section of your character sheet? Could you say bridge can carry more? You say that a bridge can carry more than like 400 pounds. I mean, if a bridge can only carry 400 pounds, that's a pretty shitty bridge.
Yeah.
That's a ladder.
What's the point of the weight portion on your character? Well, it just says how much your character weighs, I guess, if you're asking that.
It's character creation flavor, right? It mechanically, it almost never has any bearing in the game.
Well, so let's talk about that. it's supposed to. Even 5e has use for the weight. Once you calculate the weight of your character, you can calculate the maximum carrying capacity. You can calculate the amount of fall damage they can do. You can calculate carrying capacity of like a horse or a cart or a bridge. Yeah. But for the most part, people just ignore it. Just like they ignore carrying capacity altogether, or they ignore things like gold weight. Because gold is really, really fucking heavy.
Yep.
And most people have more gold than they would ever be able to carry. So, yeah. That's really what it's for. It's for calculating the rest of the things that everybody ignores. Because even in the Pathfinder book, like it says, it says if one of the players is a large-sized creature, then it can carry one large-sized creature. But like a small dwarf probably weighs more than a large Garan. Just is.
The other time I thought weight being very useful in like combat, for example, is when people have used variant encumbrance.
Yeah.
It's because it's like you walk and grapple like a larger creature. There's a variant rule for that, and you kind of sit on them, and then someone casts enlarge, and suddenly you're 8 times heavier, and you're a warforged that weighs 500 pounds. Oh god. So, you know, it's the only times I could imagine being super useful. Otherwise, it's just a lot of flavor, and as you can imagine, like grappling things. If your character, like story-wise, is pretty heavy, then you can imagine like a random comer can't really drag you. If you're playing like a 300-pound, 8-foot-tall bugbear, for example.
I thought your carrying capacity was 15 times your strength mod.
That's the modern one.
Is that how they updated
That's
it?
5e.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So you can be a 5-pound fairy and lift 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, because my problem with that is that, like, a goblin with 15 strength and a storm giant with 15 strength, technically the same lifting capacity.
I mean, you get the multiplier of each is larger. It's times 2.
Oh, yeah.
But that comes into the issue that you realize how weak storm giants are in their carrying capacity.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is, one, the carrying capacity just in general, but the way stats don't scale in 5e.
Yeah.
Because they put like a really hard cap limit on it.
Yeah. And like that it was specifically designed that way, right? That's why they have no large sized playable races and nothing smaller than small.
So, okay, interesting. I remember I did the math. Like, how strong is a storm giant? Like, rules wise, and it's like their carrying capacity is like 1,700 pounds, and I'm like, that's so little. How do they move? You know.
I had somebody come into the chat and be super pissed off that their character could only lift like 200 pounds, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I thought I did the math and they could carry like 800 to 900 pounds, and I'm like, that's also like ridiculous, because that's like beyond Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, there's a whole bunch to it.
I mean, yeah, the carrying capacity math isn't like it's more for players than anything. I generally, for monsters, I'm like, what makes sense? So I could imagine that a storm giant could easily lift tons, you know.
Bears are medium-sized creatures. They are fucking massive. like half a ton to a ton.
Yeah. Some are large, though.
Yeah, some are large.
But yeah, 5e's carrying capacity rules, even with variant encumbrances, you can ignore it, even with variant encumbrance. I've had many GMs run it, and I'm like, oh, people are going to care about carrying capacity, finally. And then people are like, I'll just throw away half of the stuff and just ignore it for the rest of the game. You know? All it does is just make people kind of, at the beginning, be frustrated what they can carry, and then they're like, I don't actually need this. And if you're playing a strength character, you're usually strong enough to carry your own gear. But there is a push, drag, or lift
yeah, I was going to
capacity
say,
as well.
I think there's like a maximum lift you can carry over your head, which is different than your carrying capacity. Because your carrying capacity should be like what you can wear.
It's double your carrying capacity.
Yeah. Is it double? Okay.
Yeah.
Take your backpack off. Huck it a little bit.
Yeah, you can move 5 feet around at that point, which is still a lot. You can like, what I have a like bugbear character who has 20 strength, who can lift I think 1,200 pounds, but they can move only 5 feet around with it.
Yeah.
And 1,200 is still half a ton, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like at that point, you're slowed, but you're still pushing around a Subaru. So.
But you can double that if you're playing a bear totem barbarian and a bugbear. Oh, you can carry a ton and move around with that. You
Hence
get
why I
pretty
ignore all
ridiculous
that stuff
with
and
that.
just fun not. It's just not fun to worry about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pathfinder did the thing which I thought was really, really cool, and now I less care about it. But they removed the weight component of things and just made things light, bulky. I think there was one more. Oh, and like negligible. So you can hold 10 light things before it becomes one bulk, or you can carry as many insequential things as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like, oh, that's really cool, until you start having to try to add everything together, and it's just like, just give me numbers. I just want the numbers back. I can do math in my head really easy.
It's the most I've had a medium character being able to lift. I think almost 5,000 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah. It was like stacking a feat and a feature from a subclass in our, sub race and everything.
Imagine what they could have done if you added Pathfinder spell Anthaul to it.
Yeah, Anthal's great.
I have no idea what that does.
Is it double your?
I think it's more than that. I think it's like 4 times your normal carrying capacity.
What's the spell called?
Anthaul.
Anthaul or Hull?
Hull, H-A-U-L.
H-A-U-L, yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I can't hear the difference.
It's because English is stupid. Let's see.
His protagonist, of course, you can carry 6 swords at a time.
Yeah. The target's carrying capacity triples for 2 hours per caster level.
My friend had a human minion who could cast that spell solely to carry all of his books. You would cast it on the guy at the beginning of the day, and then that guy would just carry around like a backpack of 600 books. That's pretty great. I was like, if you want to spend a spell every day to do that, you're welcome to bring a library with you. You also have to pay the guy. And he's like, fair enough.
But in the end, it doesn't matter too much in D&D games.
It doesn't.
People really care about it. But I realized more as I play D&D more and more. It's like I just want to fight shit.
Yeah.
I want to be an epic little guy, just a little guy.
I start running into problems because I want my characters to be like kitted out. And it's like, what do you mean a torch weighs more than a sword? This is stupid.
That actually does not make any sense to me.
That kind of makes sense because swords are very light, but if your torch is pretty big, it can be actually heavier than a sword. Because most swords will, like, let's imagine like a bastard sword.
I think that 5 pounds is like a heavy sword is like 5 pounds.
Yeah, I think most arming swords, which is kind of your basic broadsword, weigh 2.5 to 3 pounds.
Yeah, like the Zweihander, the heaviest 200 swords, can range from 4 to 8 pounds.
There you go. Yeah. Whereas a torch, you're carrying liquid, you're carrying the stick itself. So, all of a sudden,
might actually be heavier than the metal.
Yeah. Especially if it's like an iron torch, than it is just a piece of like wrought iron.
Oh yeah, then it's definitely heavier.
I mean, that's not the type of thing you would carry around. That's the type of thing you slap on the side of your castle wall.
I mean, I carry those around because you can whack things with them. That sounds like someone who's never played a Dark Souls game, Druid.
I mean, guilty as charged.
The character probably wouldn't carry 60 snow globes, but still, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that I like about the second edition Pathfinder bulk system is it's kind of wrapping weight and like the ungainly nature of size of things together, which does make it like inherently more complicated. Which I think that was you to your point, Rook. That's the thing that makes it ungainly to use in a gameplay setting, but it does make a fair amount of sense. So that's the thing that I appreciate about it.
Yeah, it does make a lot more sense when you're looking at like spells and abilities, because they'll be like, you can pull something out of your pocket that is one light bulk or less, right? It's just like, cool, okay, so like that clumps a whole bunch of things together without having to get like very specific about the weight. And then they can take something that can be, like I said, a sword weighs between, what'd you say, 4 and 8 pounds. It's just like, that's just one bulk. Like, let's just put it at one bulk and leave it alone, and then that encompasses all those swords, so you don't have to really worry about it. I'm always a big fan of Resident Evil, like the I was gonna say cachet, but like the cases.
Yeah.
Or like Diablo does the same thing. It's like weight doesn't matter, but space does, and that's kind of what they're doing with this. Is like you just have to find the space for it in your bag. It's like that's cool.
Yeah, and imagine if that was your inventory management in like tabletop games.
Right.
You use your grid, and you're like, oh shit, time to do a puzzle time, guys. You have like 30 grids, and your sword is like 5, and you have to like fit everything in.
Yeah. Look, if you had the resources like to be able to do that with cards, I actually wouldn't necessarily mind it, but like keeping track of all that between sessions would be such a pain in the ass.
There was something I was playing that I remember. Actually, I can't talk about that. Never mind. That was for a game that is being worked on right now. We were discussing like how equipment is equipped. It's like, do you just need, if you just have like a slot system of like you can equip 3 things, what's stopping you from preventing you from wearing like 3 sets of boots, right?
Yep.
So Pathfinder does a thing where they have each of your body parts has a slot. So like head, chest, neck, gloves, boots, belt, and then you have like Ioun stone slots. Essentially, you have like 10 slots, but they have to each be unique. You can't double up on stuff. So I think you might have 2 ring slots, so you can have 1 on each hand.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
But
you
that's
have like
just
a shoulder slot for a cape or a cloak.
So there's a lot of different ways to do it, and there's really no wrong way to do it, and like it just depends on how you want your game to play out.
Yeah.
I would just stick to boards with characters' names on them. Yeah, and that can be really fun. And I think that would work out too. If everybody could have X amount of items. That's kind of how the system works now. And D&D 5e does 3. You can have 3 attuned items.
Yeah.
That's kind of in the same vein of just like, your slots are really attunement slots, not specifically gloves, right?
Yeah. But Pathfinder relies a lot more on magic items for game balance. And so it makes sense that they have a system that gives you more.
Yeah, also, these Pathfinder items aren't nearly as powerful as 5e sometimes.
Sometimes. I was looking at building in 2nd edition Pathfinder a wand of magic missiles for my little goblin artificer Curdle, and I thought the 5e wand of magic missiles was really powerful because you can like in one round shotgun blast the entire wand, right?
The wand of the robe of stars is like, why is this so powerful? Oh, it's a level 12 item.
Yeah. But the wand of magic missiles is a common item, right? I was looking at if you built a staff of magic missiles in 2nd edition Pathfinder, like the way the magic missile equivalent, whatever they've renamed it to, that spell, the way it the force barrage. Thank you, Jonas. The way that spell works is for every level you upcast it, every action gives +1 magic missile. So at a 3rd level magic missile, 1 action shoots 3 missiles. So that does mean that at 3rd level you can use all 3 actions to blast 9 missiles. and it continues to scale as you go up. So
That's awesome. That's really powerful.
So it's really really powerful. A staff of Force Barrage can get crazy strong.
I was looking at wands and staffs in Pathfinder, and essentially what they've done is staves are wizard weapons, right? So
Yep.
like every wizard should have a staff, and that's where you put your cool shit. And wands are extra spell slots. That's all they are. They're not like, whereas magical items in other games where they do cool shit and stuff or have their own things, just like, no, a wand is just, here's one more spell slot you can use. So, which I'm okay with. I think that's kind of neat. Or not one more spell slot, I'm sorry. One additional spell. You can carry one additional spell with you, because I think you use your own spell slot to cast it. I'd have to look it up. The rules are weird, but wands are not what they used to be in Pathfinder 1. In Pathfinder 1, they were like, here's a machine gun full of spells. You can use 50 times and then it's gone. And you're like, all right, that's cool. Which I loved. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one of Magic Missiles in 5 is definitely pretty powerful, but Magic Missiles is like the best at early on, and once you kind of reach like past level 5, it's like it's niche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because really, like, the benefit of it is it doesn't miss, right? Like that's really what you're spending the spell for. So or the DM uses it to insta kill someone when they go down because they're evil. Yeah, like I've done it a few times. Oh man,
I'll admit that.
We when we were playing Baldur's Gate, what we discovered is each instance of magic missile, each missile, makes you roll a separate concentration check. So
it does that in 5e as well. Actually, that's how it's supposed to be run.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but I didn't notice it until I was playing Baldur's Gate, because someone would be like, "Oh, dominate person," and I'm like, "Here's 20 magic missiles, motherfucker! Like, dodge that!" And it's like spell failed. It's like, yay!
At higher levels, magic missiles is kill someone down or remove concentration.
Yeah, it's like, who needs counterspell when you have magic missile at level 5?
The only time you can like make Magic Missile really powerful is by playing an Evocation Wizard, but that requires a very high level ability.
Yeah, I was playing Abjuration Wizard, which was great. So like, I did not care about the damage at all. It was literally just like, I can either cast Counterspell or I can hit him with a Magic Missile if the Counterspell fails, and that was it. That's all I used it for, was just mass disruption. It was awesome.
Also,
I have had some success with wands of magic missile in 5e, just because like they're a common magical item. They're relatively cheap usually. So I have had characters that just carry around a fuck ton of magic missiles and unload the entire wand every round, right? So you can still get decent damage out of them at high level. Which, the other thing with 5e, and then I'm going to catch up on chat here, the other thing about 5e is that I think the magical items are way more powerful because you can only equip 3 of them, right? Like, so the wand, like, the fact that they're rechargeable and upscalable is just, that's a little bonkers. Like, they feel really powerful. So
the wand is also, there's a small risk of breaking by the end.
Right. Yeah. And with Pathfinder, it has the same thing. You can use a wand once per day, and then you can use it again, but it might break.
I think
but
the
it is
reason why
smaller.
Magic Missiles is so low in rarity is because shield exists.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of items that just auto shield.
You cast Magic Missiles at 9th level, and you can like shield. It does nothing. Like, that was a 9th level spell slot. Oh god.
Okay.
You can counter that with counterspell, of course, but if you use your reaction, you're kind of screwed.
Is there a good class for a wand slinger? Gunslinger is if you use the gunslinger features, but instead of a gun, you just use the wand. And then you basically allow them to reload the wand. It's weird.
Is this in Pathfinder or?
It doesn't exist. It does not exist. No. There are a few. I think you could do it in Pathfinder 1, but that's because the wands had charges. So that's another way to do it in 5e. Basically, you would equip a wand the way you would a gun that just has ammo. And you just, when you run out, you have to pull out a new wand.
Flavor-wise in 5e is a wand slinger. It's the artificer artillerist.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they make a wand and you deal like an extra d8 of damage on spells.
Okay. Yeah, and then they just cast cantrips with a wand forever. That makes sense. You basically you also play a warlock with it, and then just give them wands that change their Eldritch Blast. Different ways. I think that works flavor-wise, but it's not very cool. I really do like the Pathfinder Gunslinger. And then you give them the Warlock Eldritch Blast as their like scalable function for their gun.
Yeah,
their
it's called Arcane Firearm.
Arcane Firearm? Okay.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
You can make a wand, essentially. When you cast artificer spells, roll a d8, and yeah, that's the extra damage.
I always want...
one of the rolls.
Would a D&D game inspired by Path of Exile go? Would you collect gems to have the skills on them? You can do that. I mean, you can do that in regular games. Basically, just instead of like a spell book, you just kill somebody and find a materia with a spell on it, and then that would be it.
It's literally just reskinning scrolls.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing you would do is you basically wouldn't give anybody classes. You would give them class feature gems, so that way everyone could equip Second Wind, right? Like that's how that would work. It's pretty simple to do, not simple to balance. Path of Exile is very number heavy because of it, and you have to have a system, like you have to understand the system, the D&D system, enough to understand when things would and would not interact with each other. That's the problem with Path of Exile and why they have so many tags. All of their things are either weapons or ranged attacks or spells, and then certain gems only affect certain spells. So it's something you can absolutely do, and it's something you can play with. But it just takes a little bit more work to look into. But what I would do for the classes is basically people are going to level up only for hit points and stats, and the way you would do that is it would be just a D8. Everybody gets a D8 hit points unless they have a gem that would increase that, or just give them bonus health, which is what I would do. And then you just need to figure out the slotting system for it. And maybe that's based on the weapons. Like each of your weapons can only hold so many slots. So, yeah, definitely doable, definitely buildable, very easy to do. Like just follow the kits of the game and use the rules verbatim, except that you gain features by putting gems in weapons. So, draw Warlock with a Pact of Baron Samdi? I don't get that term.
You're not the only one.
To Google.
No, I am the foreign one here, so.
You are the foreign? Well, huh?
I am the foreign one. I wouldn't get like US references, for example.
Yeah.
You guys make a lot of them. So
lots of stuff goes over my head.
So.
Oop, I need to be rolling a smaller die. I'm going to take a quick break. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, everybody. Hang tight. And then we're going to roll another one.
Oh, yeah. I should check the server if we have a game tomorrow. Seems like we do.
Yeah, I think we're playing tomorrow.
Yippee. Ah. Let me see. Interesting.
Baron Samedi, the god of the dead, for Loa, for voodoo.
How goes your arts to do it?
I haven't done anything in a week.
Fair enough. Kind of the same here.
I got sick with a cold last weekend, and it set off pretty bad fibromyalgia reaction. So I had a couple of days where I had no voice and couldn't straighten my legs or back. So.
You know what's interesting? This week, everyone in my city is getting sick with flu.
I mean, it is the start of cold flu season.
Yeah, because it's like it goes through Europe like a wave. I've realized because like people in Sweden had it before us, and now we are having it. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh. It's like a wave that goes across the globe.
Yeah, literally, as people are outside and able to interact with each other more instead of being locked inside all winter. Suddenly, everybody's swapping germs.
Yep, that's the term. Though I've heard that term used before, but not for like getting sick.
Yeah.
I think someone said that instead of kissing once.
Yeah.
So I remember asking, "What you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh, just swapping germs." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." I didn't know. Didn't know what. But he wasn't wrong. That's kind of slightly the point of it. So
Yeah,
testing the
true.
immune system of your partner.
My go-to euphemism is playing tonsil hockey.
Oh, oh, that's oh,
Terrible. It's terrible, isn't it?
oh, yeah.
I love it so much.
That's the right.
The worst.
That is the worst. I'm gonna remember that. I had to translate it to Finnish. Oh. Yeah. Essentially.
Correct, Bri. Playing tonsil hockey, my favorite euphemism for making out.
Damn. I need to remember that something. I'll write it down. But yeah, I started like drawing again a day or two ago. Then I realized it's the wrong theme for this month. Mermaid's already gone.
Okay, we're back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so Baron Samedi is, well, we've learned, is a god of the dead for voodoo. And Elliot was saying they've got a Caribbean-themed campaign setting. Underdark races were sailed out of the old world and separated from the traditional magic structures and deities. They had to adapt to the new gods and magic of the demiplane. And so I'm guessing, Elliot, then that you're using voodoo as an analog for that, which is very smart, I think, by the way. Which sounds cool.
What the hell is... I got a character. I'm trying to see if it's appropriate, and I can't figure out who the hell this character is. Everything I click on says not safe for work, so maybe I don't draw this one.
What character?
I can't. I don't know if I should say it. I think
God,
this is...
making me too curious now.
Well, too bad. So, I'm gonna not draw that one.
God damn it. No, why do you do this to me? I'm a cat. I must know. The most frustrating things in life, someone mentions something like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to tell you," and I'm like, "No, my existence." Did someone ask for a fan art? I don't think that's allowed anyways.
Oh, this week was allowed for fan art. That's why I was...
Oh. That's why.
Questionable choice. We're gonna move on.
Questionable choice. Time to go through your shorts.
Playing tonsil hockey.
Talking about euphemisms.
Okay, I gotta look this one up too. Is this appropriate? This seems appropriate. I feel like it's a joke, but maybe not. It says a Votamos mech from Scope Dog. Knights of the Multiverse. I don't know what Knights of the Multiverse is either. It looks like a pretty generic mech. Votam's mech, huh? Okay. This one seems doable. Let's do it.
I wonder how many of these are not safe for work. Generally, people are actually pretty good about that moniker. Or if they're not you, filter them out before you.
I'm
or
pretty
when you
good
make
at
the
filtering them out. It's just with this one, I didn't have time to look at all of them because they just seem pretty innocuous.
list.
Um,
I see one on this list that should be banned by the rules, but whatever.
so it's not that big of a deal.
An entire party was requested. Holy sh! Am I on the wrong one? Damn.
Probably not. When people mention something and decide not to tell you, yeah.
Okay.
Drag, welcome
There's only
in.
one I could imagine is the mildly not safe for work one. I don't think that one counts.
I'll tell you after stream. How's that?
All right. Damn it! You're making me stay here for till the duration of the stream. You clever bastard.
Send money. That's the.
Send money. I can send you a year ago if you want.
Do people want more kaiju? That's the question. If so, send money.
Kaiju.
Everything's fine.
What's a cool sword?
Jonas, have you seen the new pack that's coming out for Helldivers?
Oh, it's been a while since I played Helldivers because every update has made it run worse for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think my PC's out of date, like 7 years out of date, so it's kind of catching up to me. I have not actually seen it. Oh, Commandos, okay.
Mm-hmm. They're doing some Predator stuff.
Oh man, I love Predator stuff. I was too young to see it back then when I saw it, but I still saw it and I loved it.
Yep. Same.
It influenced my entire life. Same with Alien. There were so many things as a kid that I realized have influenced me nowadays, which is Star Wars, Aliens, Lord of the Rings, and something else. Predator. There we go.
Bri, thank you for the gift membership. Do you
There's a lot
want
of
more kaiju? I appreciate and like the gift subs. I very much appreciate that. But I'm not sure if we should...
More KU.
Yeah. Should we limit the kaiju for one per person per day or not? That's the question that I don't know yet.
And here's a funny thing. The way Bri wrote kaiju with KU means fairy in Finnish.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
KU.
One per day? All right.
It's also the name of a margarine brand or butter brand here.
Fairy butter?
Yeah.
That sounds weirdly inappropriate. I don't know why.
That does.
I never thought about it like that, but...
Speaking of euphemisms, fairy butter.
Yes. Here's a picture of one. This is what...
Oops.
I deleted the message.
Fairies. Fairy birds.
Fairies. Oh, my God. me putting a picture there made me realize it's been a while since I've eaten like butter. When did I last have like butter or anything?
I love butter.
I do as well. I just don't particularly. I think I removed it from my diet for some reason. I don't remember why. It's been like 8 months since I had butter, I think.
Wow.
I should probably say like actual butter. Yeah, I don't get it's the margarine or what it's called in English. That's the unhealthy stuff. At least for me.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, boom. But this thing's got like a big old gut of a heat sink.
What are you drawing right now?
I don't know, some random robot from some random show I've never seen. Might be from the Lancer? Looks like it's from the Lancer RPG.
The shoulder piece made me think of Warhammer for some reason. It does kind of look like a... What's it called?
It looks a little bit like a Gundam.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely bulky power armor.
It looks like a Castellan robot.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
That's kind of... Oh, that is not what I was thinking of.
Or, what was the warport it's called? What's it called? Iron Kit. No, Iron Kit. I love these little guys. Man, I wish the models for Warhammer weren't so goddamn expensive. Otherwise, I would collect them.
You could always buy a 3D printer and then have all of them.
I would need to save up for a pretty 3D printer.
But it would be cheaper than buying the...
Yeah, that is true. I
Let's
want
just
to do a
hope
good one, though.
Games Workshop doesn't come after you,
Well, as long
bury
as
you in a
don't,
dungeon.
as long as you
Doesn't
don't sell
sell
them,
yeah.
they can't.
I'm not going to sell them. I'm just going to make my own models.
You wouldn't
I probably
3D
should.
print a car, would you?
I absolutely would,
yes.
but
Right?
Please, yes. I would also, if I could, I would 3D print a cell phone.
It's probably a way to
if I
do
could.
that.
If I could, I would. That might be a thing in our lifetime, so I'll be curious.
It might be.
I'll
I
be
think
like
that's,
90
I
by
think
then,
that's
probably.
wildly on... Cell phones are super complicated. Like, hyper complicated. So, that might be underselling the technological advance that is a cell phone. Or over...
Nah, let's make Nokias for us.
Over asking of 3D printing.
Yeah, maybe.
Never know.
I saw...
Although, yeah, somebody coming up with a way to 3D print microchips, though, that seems like a step that's
Sure.
imminent.
So, but the difference between a microchip and the microprocessors in cell phones is like different
massive.
types of technology. Yeah, it's so bonkers. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But like I said, it's either over asking or undervaluing.
Yeah. Fair.
Depends on the cell phone you have in mind.
Yeah, if you want to make one of these.
Little Nokia, little flip phone, yeah, I would.
Well, no, even the
Totally have it.
Nokias, like the ones made in the 80s, like, even those are pretty fanciful.
I'm like in a weird position for a person my age that I was we had like still house phones, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid, which most people my age didn't, but we had because I lived in Estonia, which was kind of behind on technology as a whole back then. So like my experiences on technology like was always like 5 or 10 years behind everyone else. So for me, like most people my age wouldn't have experience like VCRs and cassettes and so on.
You know what? I bet even beyond the Nokia, I think the Nokia is fair. Like you could build it, but I still think you would have to like without a screen. You couldn't 3D print a screen. You couldn't 3D print. Like the rubber buttons. Maybe you could.
There are like
The speaker. You'd have to buy a speaker. You'd have to buy. That might be it. Like, I bet you could make a use case for most of the cellular components in an older phone like that if all it has to do is call. But things like the speaker and the screens, you would have to probably still get separately, because those are different industrial processes. Like, I don't think you can 3D print a magnet. That would be pretty cool if you could. Maybe you can. I don't know. But yeah, customize a phone, sure.
it's called a bedazzler.
A bedazzler.
What's a bedazzler?
It's a horrible, cheap craft.
It's a
product
rivet
of,
gun
like,
that lets you put sequins on stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. That tells me nothing, but fair enough.
Do you not know what
Rivet
a
gun.
sequin is?
No,
Do you know what a rhinestone cowboy is?
I do not.
Have you ever seen?
I think you should just said rhinestones. They're fake plastic gemstones.
Yeah.
They don't even go the extra mile and make them glass.
Thank
It's
you,
just plastic.
Brian. What is this? Never seen this before.
It does not actually surprise me. It seems like a thing that is only marketable to Americans.
I could see some like rich girls having this back in the day.
Uh,
Also, I was kind of on the poorer side of children, so I guess that's
I mean, same. I just saw the commercials for them.
yeah. It's basically just a toy to
Make your air shit glitter.
yeah,
Cool.
attach cheap plastic gemstones to basically anything with a instead of glue, but with like a mechanical connection.
Okay, that's fair enough. I don't see the point in that.
I mean,
Yeah,
neither
so-
did I.
I'm also the person whose phone looks like it's been through the ringer, but you know.
Why put it on your teeth? Nobody knows.
What?
You ever seen a grill?
What?
Oh my god. I can't play this game anymore.
Oh, so you
Poor
called it a
Jonas.
griddle?
A grill.
Which
No,
was
he said
it's
grill.
it sounded like you
Grill.
said griddle. I was like, I
I
think you're saying it wrong.
may have seen it. I don't know.
That's Idaho talking. Grills are
Fake
really
metal
bad
teeth.
jewelry for your teeth. Yeah.
Oh.
Usually,
what the hell?
usually to make your cheap, shitty teeth look better.
Okay,
And that's
I
the
mean,
same
my
reason
teeth
that
are-
you bedazzle something, is because you bought a cheap jacket and you want it to look fancy.
My teeth look bad enough. I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Grill are usually pretty bad for your teeth, like in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, it's 100% just a cosmetic thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yikes. This
There-
is something else.
Jewelry trying to be non-medical braces.
God,
That might also be a thing that people don't really smile much in Finland, so that's another Finnish joke I can make there.
Actually, I'm trying to think of what the first use case for. So, like, a rhinestone is like a cheap diamond, right? Like plastic,
Yeah.
or is it glass?
Plastic.
It is plastic. Okay. Because like the rhinestone cowboy thing, like that was big when I was younger. Because people would just get like sequences and stuff put all over their rodeo jackets, so that they look sparkly and shiny when they're riding their horses onto the rodeo lights. And that I thought was the same thing that kind of went into eventually sequences and stuff. It's just a cheaper way to do it.
Yeah, it's a similar look. Sequins are all like foil coated plastic, right?
Yeah.
And then rhinestones, I think, are foil backed, fake, or like faceted, clear polyurethane.
Yeah, because one is essentially like a diamond shaped reflector, and the other one is a concaved reflector.
Yeah.
But they're just meant to sparkle. They make a clothes sparkle.
Yes.
Maybe those were around in the disco era. That wouldn't surprise me.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So have like rhinestones, though probably more originally glass than plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know why they ever called them these, but like paste diamonds or glass costume jewelry, those have been around for forever.
Yep. Since ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think the grill is just a status symbol, like a gold chain, you know? It's like, this is unnecessary and worth thousands of dollars that I can afford. It's like, oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that might also be a big culture difference, because only people who do that in Finland are foreigners. It's like Finnish people who rarely, if ever, flaunt their wealth, and if you do, you're generally an asshole.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same.
Like I said, I think it's probably much more an American culture thing, which is why I'm not surprised you're not familiar with it.
I mean, fur coats. People do it in different ways.
Yeah.
I think the sequins are an American thing, but like the flaunting of wealth is not.
I haven't really seen fur coats here on people either.
Well, Jonas lives in a magical land of wonderful people who aren't assholes.
No, the people just drink all the time. That's where their money goes. Everyone's an alcoholic here.
Also lives in Europe, where fur, I'm pretty sure, is illegal. To buy and sell.
I think it might be now, yeah. I'm
But...
trying to remember when I was seeing like an actual fur coat, and the only time I saw it was in like Estonia, a Russian person.
That's what I was thinking of. Russian fur coats were pretty.
Because they have so many
pretty high class,
they have
expensive
no laws
things.
this one.
One could make an argument very easily, though, when you're that far north. That quality of fur does have function.
It depends on what you're making it out of, because I mean, like, so that's the point, right? Like, the difference between having a very functional fur coat and a fur coat made out of like endangered species makes the value different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like having a nice denim jacket so that you don't get beat up and dirty in the sun versus having a jacket covered in sequins. One is very much meant to show off how fancy you are.
Fur hats. I'm not trying to wonder, pretty sure there are fur coats, but I just never see them. Might because you get so much shit for it, might probably.
Yeah, probably.
It's just status symbols. Really, that's all we're talking about. Is status symbols.
Yeah, it's like because you're flaunting your wealth again and everything, so something that you want to wear. Unless you're on a coat.
I will say, sequence really doesn't show off anyone's wealth. It's just
shiny. It's just shiny.
Yeah. I mean, we have fur caps here, definitely. But
I don't think fur things are illegal. I think you're not allowed to make certain types of fur, which for a long time, like baby seal was one, minx was one.
Yeah.
Like Angora is not technically fur, but it is. Like, it's a very fancy special type
wool.
of wool. so it's not as unethical. But
I think
that's
most
Yeah,
of
really
you
the
don't
problem.
kill the animal and skin it
Right.
for Angola.
I think
But-
most fur animals that used to make like stuff out of are under threat in Finland, so that might be one.
Yeah.
Yes, Finland was pretty popular for like
Beaver,
fur coats and everything back in the day.
Yeah.
seals, and certain cats aren't allowed. Yeah.
Like if people want fur coats or want fur accessories, like all we really need to do is start eating more rabbit.
Yeah.
Rabbit fur is great.
Only reason there isn't more rabbit is people find them so cute.
I hate rabbits.
I do as well.
They're
I'm not the
cute.
only one.
They're cute, but I hate them.
And you're
There's-
weird for that. I will always think that you're the weirdest person for thinking that rabbits are horses.
It's so close. They're just
They're
tiny
not.
demon horses.
Rook has a point.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, we're
I'm
gonna
on
we're gonna
Rook's
play a
side.
game. We're gonna play a game. I'm gonna start drawing something, and I want you to guess what I'm drawing.
Is it a
we're-
rabbit or
Is
we're
it?
gonna
Yeah,
play
we're gonna play. Is it a
or
rabbit or a horse? All right, here we go. Here we go.
All right, chat. Let's play rabbit or horse.
I'm gonna look up a reference. And you tell me when you think it's one or the other, and then I will post the picture that I'm drawing. Oops. There we go.
The biggest difference between rabbits and horses in my mind is that rabbits are better suited to digesting cellulose, and they do so by eating their own shit. So, gotta eat it twice. Horses just digest what they can get and out of it, and then leave it.
Chat, you can play along too. Feel free to type in whether you think it's one or the other.
Briar's
only get
already
one.
guessed horse.
Okay.
Yeah, oh.
You only get one guess though, so and whoever guesses correctly first will. I'm gonna do a bunch, and then we'll go back and we'll see. So start shouting your answers when you think you're pretty confident.
There's not enough correctly, so. Oh, maybe my stream is behind.
And you are doing skeleton. This looks like the I see front scapula, the humerus, and radius or ulna, the wrist.
Yep.
And the cervical vertebrae. There's spine and rib cage.
Can't tell yet exactly.
Believe
Spider.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a rabbit, because the scapula is on the back instead of on the shoulder.
Oh, good point.
Maybe I drew it wrong. You don't. No, it's a rabbit. This is a rabbit.
Also, like, sure, if you're purely looking at like the skeleton, there are some similarities. They both rabbits do have normally long necks that they keep kind of scrunched up. It's like,
Yeah. Like if you're looking at
I
pet
really
store,
don't see the difference.
if you're looking at pet store rabbits, like you're only really seeing like, the fluffy little. Oh, he's so cute. He's got little hands, big old floppy feet. But if you look at like jackrabbits when they're flying all over a field, it's terrifying. They're tiny little horses. It just scares the hell out of me. Partially the other thing is like I just don't like horses for the same reasons. Like they look all calm and nice, and it's like I could murder you right now. It's like, whoa, horse, chill out.
I as a
Every
person
animal
actually am
can
afraid
murder
of
you, Rick.
horses. So. I will
Just saying.
trust a cow every day over a horse.
You're like, oh, that horse is cute. It's got like it eats apples and stuff. And then when you look at its skeleton, it's just like I have razors in the front and crushers in the back, and I will step on you and kill you.
Between the
Yeah,
two,
horse-
I'm much more comfortable around a horse than I am a cow.
Interesting. Complete opposite for me.
Cows can
But
also
also-
kill you. They have razor feet, which I don't like.
Yeah.
They can put way too
That's
much
some-
power in those tiny
Yeah.
little cow feet.
Yeah, cows are generally very chill, I would say. I am also, as a person, actually terrified of horses.
I
My
have
anxiety will go through the roof if I'm next to a horse.
uh,
Cow, I'm chill.
I have seen a cow crush a fence. I know of a cow that kicked the eyeball out of a dog. And I know a horse that kicked the collarbone out of one of my uncles. So I'm good.
And
I'm
the
good.
uncle probably deserved it.
Probably not.
Not necessarily. Horses, like, one of the problems with horses as well is that some of them are really smart and some of them are so stupid.
A rabbit is just a horse taking a dump.
My mother taught European style equestrian riding and jumping and dressage for a while, and and I met some of the horses that she worked with, and I'm 100% with Rook on this. Like, horses are fucking scary, and
Yeah, I do not like horses.
Like that's the thing. I'm a little scared of horses, like rationally so scared of horses. I will ride a horse. I will pet a horse. I don't care. They're fine. I hate rabbits. I don't know why. Like, I've also seen rabbits. Like, I knew a rabbit that would constantly hump the neighborhood cats, and that always bothered me a little bit. It was a big fat rabbit that just was an asshole. So
I don't like rabbits because they're pests generally.
yeah, they are. They're good prey animals. They're excellent prey animals, which is why if we wanted fur, I think it would be it would be a really easy thing for us to raise rabbits, and then as long as we're eating them and processing the fur, I don't see any problem.
like
with that.
as it goes, like I would raise rabbits on a farm for that, but like
Yeah.
my hatred's not deep. It's wide, but it's not deep.
Like, I can get, like, the aversion to horses. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen people get hurt by horses. And I've seen all sorts of things with horses. The rabbit thing is always the weird thing about it. It's like, it can hurt you.
That is not
It
true.
can scratch you.
Oh, it can scratch the
maybe
shit
bite
out
you.
of you. If you've never been
It ain't
bitten by
gonna
a
kill
rabbit,
you, though.
oh my god, being bitten by a rabbit is because they're rodents. Like,
Like,
being
yeah.
bitten by any rodent is awful. Have you ever stepped on a rabbit? That's really bad.
No, because I'm not crazy.
You
don't do it on
step
purpose.
on a rabbit on purpose, Corbin.
Never step on a rabbit on purpose.
It happens on accident.
You're walking through brush, and when rabbits see people, they freeze, and then you step on one, and it is like a banshee wail.
Terrifying,
really, like,
human screams.
Brain dead rabbits out west, because
Oh yeah, jackrabbits are stupid as shit. Like they will run
Also-
like full bore into a fence, like
I will
like
say
a wall.
jackrabbits are technically not rabbits, but wild hares. They are two different categories. So, hares are creepy looking. I'll give you that. It's the big wide eyes.
Are they different than, say, the difference between like a horse and a Clydesdale?
No, like
They're
different as in like a horse and a mule.
A horse and a donkey, I think because
Yeah,
you think
that's
you
what I mean, yes.
because a mule is half and half.
Yep.
Jackrabbits are
That's wild.
maybe that's my thing. Maybe jackrabbits are just fucking terrifying and I hate them.
Yeah. 'Cause
They're cute.
Wild hares are very a lot bigger than rabbits, and just more aware. I will not be surprised if they can see the future.
Like the fat little rabbits that live in my neighborhood that keep getting eaten by the cats. Not my cats. Well, one of them got eaten by my cat. You'll walk outside, and they'll do this thing where they just turn into a potato.
I'm sure
And
there's
then-
just not like domesticated rabbits that got loose.
And they'll just sit
Oh,
there.
and that's
Probably.
probably what they are. That's probably what they are. I've got some of those around my area as well. People
They're-
are stupid and irresponsible with their pets.
There are tons and
And
tons of
rabbit-
rabbits all over Washington.
Yeah, and rabbits naturalize very easily.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, like the difference between a rabbit and a hare is not really that great. they both can occupy the same niches very easily.
Have you seen the video clip of the girl being a dick to an elephant until it throws her?
No.
It's
that
so
sounds
funny.
Delightful.
It's so funny, and I'm still less scared of elephants than I am of horses.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I almost got trampled by one as a kid. That's where my fear started.
My fear probably started, or my fear of horses probably started when my mother was preparing for a show jumping competition, and her horse realized that the flowers he was jumping over were fake, and then he threw her and then stomped on her and used her as like a springboard to run out of the barn.
That sucks.
Snowshoe was not a smart horse.
And
It
I
was
should point out.
It's not surprising because he was a purebred stallion, which means that he was eugenicized into stupidity.
I should point out. I don't actually hate horses. And I'm not like I said, not terrified. I have a rational fear of horses because it's smart to be that way. So, horses are cool. Horses are cool. Rabbits are cool. Have them as pets. Eat them. I don't care. Whatever. My cat is more really terrified of rats. That's pretty funny. Yeah. My grandfather had a horse skull in his parlor. That was, I don't know, probably one of the coolest things I remember as a child. But, yeah.
I mean, horse skulls still make a great reference for dragon skulls.
Yeah. Maybe we should start making rabbit dragons.
Rabbit dragons? Rabbit dragons and horse dragons?
Mm-hmm.
I generally use, weirdly enough, I use wolf skulls for dragons.
That works too.
I generally, I don't know, what's the rule I follow? Because the original old ideas for dragons was a combination of different creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're chimeras.
The body of a cat, sometimes head of a snake or a wolf, tail of a snake, I guess as well, and talons of an eagle. Whatever the innate fear of small mammals is, combine them.
Yeah.
I might be more scared of stepping on the rabbit than the rabbit itself.
That's fair.
It's a horrible noise.
I don't really hate any.
World of Warcraft got it right though. Like if you kill a rabbit in World of Warcraft, it's the loudest thing. It's just like why?
It does like a 360 in the air.
Yeah, it's a backflip on death. It's like what the hell just happened?
Oh my god, I have such a flashback from that now. I killed so many of them.
It's like it tells everyone around you, like, look, this guy's killing rabbits. Hey.
I played a paladin, so consecrate.
Yeah. I got killed by a frog doing that one time. I was playing a paladin, and I consecrated the ground, and it pissed off a frog, and I dueled somebody, and then they got me to 1 hit point, and then the frog punched me and killed me. And I was just like, what just happened? It's like,
I know the feeling.
Got killed by a frog.
Just want an angry frog.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized I switched the. God damn it.
What'd you do?
I wanted chat to look like this all day, and it didn't.
Oh,
I
I
never
haven't seen
updated
chat.
it.
That's what you mean.
Oh well. Whatever. Uh-oh. No, bird's still working. We're good. I think I'm done.
Not birds.
I think I'm out of steam. Yeah. Is there anything else chat needs me to do for this weekend? I think we're pretty good. I don't think we'll be doing fan art again. That being said, like, tabletop games are still viable. So, like, the people that suggested Star Wars and the people that suggested Warhammer, I think that's okay. I just, like, I want you to think about, like, character, right? I don't want to just draw a character from one of those things.
So a themed, like, if I was like, I want a, I don't know, Chaos Space Marine.
Yeah, like, I want a character. Give me a character that is a Space Marine, or maybe, you know, that's fine. That's not fan art, but, yeah. And some of these were really good. I'm sorry we didn't get to draw.
Give us your OCs.
Rat folk, rat king wearing a pelt of all of his fallen comrades. That sounds pretty cool. That's a cool character. An alternate player character drifter from Hyper Light Drifter. Man, I haven't seen that game in forever. Yep, that's all I got. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody.
Yes, this performed.
Um,
No problemo. I realized I hadn't talked to anyone in a few days, so I was like, maybe I should talk to someone.
Well, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you. Oh, I did a thing yesterday. I was using a mandolin and I cut off most of my thumbnail or fingernail. It was pretty neat. But I did it in a way that I didn't bleed because I just I shaved my fingernail. It's really creepy and gross. Just wanted to put that out there for everybody. Don't use mandolins. Mandolins are dangerous. Wear gloves.
If you are going to use one, yeah, wear a Kevlar glove or use the fucking handguard.
Yep. Onion was too big, so I used a towel and it slipped.
Can you please stop talking about it?
That's my warning for the week, everybody. Use mandolins properly. Safety is important.
Fantastic. Now that none of your audience is ever coming back here again.
Nice.
Sorry I made fun of your rabbit thing. Please stop talking about it.
I want people to be very aware of where I am on the rabbits. They must know. The people must know about the rabbits. I think I still like, if you look at the thing I posted and the thing you posted, I still think those are pretty close. The hips are wrong. Absolutely, right? Like the hips are just wrong.
Also, the spine is wrong.
Well, but not really, because all humans, if you put them in the right position, look similar. But I guess the rabbit's shoulders are a little farther forward.
Well, what I mean is, horse spines have the weird humps in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rabbits do too, but they're a little curved different. Like if you look at
I was mainly referring to where the shoulder meets the spine.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a hump in the vertebrae.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's right behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rabbits have that too. It's just smaller. It's much smaller. The picture I posted, I realized is very small now, and I'm sorry. I am sorry.
That's fine.
I can't
close out the stream.
Yeah, I think we're done. We're noodling now. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Keep your dice on the table. We'll see you next week. Bye.